By the final scene of Jurassic Park, the T-Rex is not roaming an open jungle like a lot of people believe she is. Sure, she's already broken out, she's crossed into the guest area, because when we last see her, she's in the visitor center, and she's killed the raptors, and then obviously the humans leave. But here's the really interesting part. Before the humans leave, the power was restored, meaning parts of the island's containment system have come back online around Rexy. This means there's likely no dinosaurs inside this area. So her immediate problem wouldn't be feeding, it'd be trying to escape this electrified maze. Because this is where the survival question actually gets really interesting. You see, we know Jurassic Park had herbivores. Hell, we even see them in the movie, and Rexy hunts one of them. But now the fences have come back online, all these herbivores will be trapped inside their paddocks, with Rexy unable to get to them. So my immediate question was, how did she survive 11 years in Jurassic Park trapped with the fences back on? Now, in the immediate aftermath, sure, these fences will be on, but for how long? Well, Jurassic Park supposedly ran on geothermal power, meaning it's an infinite power source. It's never going to go out. The only thing which could go wrong would be the systems failing or mechanical parts breaking down, which would give Rexy her opportunity to leave the guest area and go out and hunt herbivores. But who's telling how long that would be? So her immediate thought would be she doesn't need a stable ecosystem, she just needs to find some animals which are also trapped in that area to sustain her for a bit longer. Perhaps some other animals which had also wandered into the guest area. But this would not last forever. An animal of that size and the prey she would need, with the fences on, it's highly unlikely she would survive for a long time, let alone 11 years. So what's actually happened? Could someone have actually gone back to Jurassic Park and fed the animals, or even worse, turned all the fences back off? And not only that, how didn't she die of the Lysine contingency? Don't worry, we're going to cover that in just a second. Now, there was a game called Jurassic Park, the game, surprisingly, which focused on the aftermath of Jurassic Park, and for a while it was considered canon. Unfortunately, since the events of Camp Cretaceous, Jurassic World, subsequent sequels, Jurassic Park the game has fallen into soft canon, if you can even call it that. But what is canon is that there was a 1994 cleanup operation detailing how InGen went back to Jurassic Park to recover assets, recover bodies, basically cover up anything which can be linked back to them and pay off the families of the victims. Granted, that's a year after the park had fell, but the fences could well and truly still be on when they return. Now, if they need access to certain areas, wouldn't it make sense for them to depower the entire island or turn them fences off? And in doing so, thus freeing Rexy? But hold on a second. If I was going to this island and the power and the fences were still on, the last thing I would want to do is turn all the power off and let all these mad hungry carnivores loose on the island where I am, where they could possibly hunt me. So as nice as it would have sounded for someone to go back and turn the power off for the animals, I don't believe that actually happened. It doesn't make any sense. Especially as the people who went back to the island in 1994 were InGen employees anyway. They'd be able to access all areas regardless if power was on or off. But even if the geothermic power lasts forever, there are some things which won't. The electric fences obviously will need maintenance. Storm damage would obviously need repair. Vegetation could grow all over the park and over the park fences. Concrete cracks, gates rust, you get the picture. Even systems could short out. And eventually, the animals would start testing these weak points, including Rexy. All it takes is a single tree to collapse on a perimeter line, and bang, Rexy could escape, or a herd of herbivores could escape into Rexy's area. But you see, the food was only the first part of the problem. You gotta remember, she was on this island for 11 years, because after she found something to eat, whether that's in the guest area, or after she started making her way into the island because fences start to fail, Jurassic Park had its own system designed to kill any dinosaur that escaped human control. Remember? The Lysine Contingency. And I'll quote Ray Arnold from the movie now. The Lysine Contingency is intended to prevent the spread of the animals in case they ever got off the island. Dr. Wu inserted a gene that creates a single polyenzyme in a protein metabolism. The animals can't manufacture the amino acid lysine. Unless they continue supply with the lysine by us, they slip into a coma and die. People are dying. Will you please shut down the system? Now, there's a reason I did a full impression, and that's because if I didn't and showed the entire clip, Universal would have just copyright slapped this video and I wouldn't be able to show it to you guys. So please appreciate my impression. But you get the picture. In a nutshell, it just knocks out the animal's ability to produce the amino acid lysine. And the only way they were able to get that was to be provided it by the park's veterinary staff. This way, the dinosaurs could never escape from the park and could never survive long out in the wild without food supplements. It was designed to stop the animals from damaging the world's global ecosystem. So surely, if Rexy wasn't supplied with the amino acid lysine, wouldn't she slip into a coma and die? Well, she clearly doesn't. So what the hell is going on? Because in the Lost World Jurassic Park and Jurassic Park 3, which is taking place on Isla Sorna, the dinosaurs are actually thriving. And there's no staff giving them the supplement, so what's gone on then? Well, the herbivores actually get the lysine from eating local plants, and the carnivores would then get the lysines from eating the herbivores. The circle of life. And this is where it gets interesting, because that works fine on Isla Sorna because they're all out in the open. All the fences are down, yada yada yada. But our Rexy is trapped in the visitor center with the power on. She isn't eating any herbivores. Granted, she ate that one Gallimimus, but that's not going to sustain her for 11 years with the lysine she needs. So the fact she didn't slip into a coma tells us something extremely interesting. She was clearly finding a food source rich in lysine. Whether that's from the goats or the cows is unknown, or perhaps a stray herbivore found its way into the guest area. You see, one thing we never really see is the park map after the storm. Sure, we see when the fences are going down and failing across the park. That's during the storm. But the next day, all we actually see is the power booting back up. Sure, we have that scene where Timmy's on the perimeter fence and that looks intact, but we have no way of knowing how intact all the rest of the fences are around Jurassic Park. There could be holes in fences leading into other carnivores' paddocks, other herbivores' paddocks, and hell, how did Rexy even get into the guest area in the first place? Did she come through an open gate, or did she make her own path through a fence? Couldn't she just simply go back the way she came? Which would lead into that Gallimimus Valley as such. She could simply just wander back out, right, and hunt them. In theory, yes, but it depends on how damaged that fence was. If she plowed through it and the entirety of the fence came down, she could potentially step over it. But if it's just a little tear and it might hit her body as she tries to go past, she would be electrocuted. And she's obviously wary of fences anyway, because we see her testing the fences in the initial scene. She knows they're electrified. Let's not forget, the raptors are super intelligent animals. The chances are they will know that when the lights are on, that the fences could mean that they're electrified. Rexy might know the same. So if she sees lights are on around the fences now, she might think twice about trying to stick her head into it or her head through a gap to try and squeeze through that fence area. But this is where the emotion comes in, I feel, because the island itself actually would have changed Rexy. She grew up in captivity. Most animals in captivity never know how to hunt when they're released back into the wild, or know how to feed. Rexy's gut instinct, as Alan Grant said, didn't disappear. She was able to go out and hunt immediately after breaking containment. If she didn't have that, she would have had an even harder time surviving than she already did. In fact, I think she would have perished. But her 65 million years of gut instinct helped her out. But she was the animal that survived this first park. She lived through the storm, the blackout, was then later abandoned. She had no other members of her species. She was the sole T-Rex on that island. It must have been a really lonely existence for her. So we've kind of worked out how she could have possibly sustained herself for 11 years, but there's something which is still bugging me and something I'm still confused about, and that's the cleanup operation in 1994. People went back to that island. There's been no account of any fatalities when they went back. They seem to have found Nedry's body, found dinosaurs, found evidence. Was the power on then, or did they switch it off? They literally went back there to cover up. Perhaps them turning the power off when they went back was their way of kind of, well, if we switch the power off, the dinosaurs will literally kill each other and eventually die out. Perhaps that was their way of containing the dinosaur problem, anticipating that they were just going to simply die out. I mean, even John Hammond in The Lost World was surprised that they were surviving on Isla Sorna with no human contact, meaning he anticipated that they were going to die out as well. I've done an entire video on what happened after Jurassic Park and what happened after Jurassic World, so it might be worth watching them after this because it goes into the human element of the island. But here's the main kicker for me. Rexy's survival was down to a number of things. Sure, a little bit of human interference, but most notably, Mother Nature, reclaiming Isla Nublar, tearing down them fences, bringing in the storms, and again, life itself was finding a way, as elegantly as Dr. Ian Malcolm put it. And if you've watched this far, you love dinosaurs as much as me, so hit that subscribe button right now because there's plenty of dinosaur content on this channel and plenty more coming up this week and next week. You won't be disappointed. A massive thanks to the InGen research team here on screen now. I couldn't keep these videos going without your support, so thank you very much. And if you came across a T-Rex out in the open, could your day go any worse? You bet Jurassic can. Catch you later.